going back to the information about the income statement. So in 2022, you weren't running at a deficit. You actually had $470,000 or so to put towards capital projects. But as Paul showed you, you have a large amount of projects that you need to do on an annual basis. So that wasn't a lot of money to use, but they made it through. 2023, it actually went negative, and a lot of that has to do, which I'm going to get to, your purchase power is $78 million of your $100 million worth of expenses. So as purchase power goes up and down, there's a lot of maneuvering that needs to be done to make sure that purchase power bill gets paid. And then in 24, it's $677,000 that you have. And then in February, we'll know what the 25 results are, but you did take out a loan from redevelopment in order to keep the operating balance running. So I expect it to be negative as well. So we take that test year of 2024, and your purchase power is the big light blue line, or the big light blue part. It's $78.7 million out of your $95.5 million in the test year. So you have about $16.8 million of other operating expenses and taxes. We made adjustments to bring it up $3.77 million for what we project out your expenses will be as far as we can in 25 and 26. So your adjusted test year is $99.3 million. Again, your purchase power stays at 78.7. As Paul went through, you have $19.6 million worth of capital. We're trying to bond a quarter of that and fund another quarter of it through equipment lease. And then you'll fund the remainder of those projects with ongoing capital as it comes in from these new rates. So that your debt service will look like this. The little small yellow at the bottom is your current equipment lease. Then we'll be adding $1.1 million lease to pay for a lot of those big trucks and other equipment that Paul talked about. And then $425,000 per year on a bond issuance, and that will go out for 20 years. So overall, this is your revenue requirement. The big blue is the adjusted or the purchase power expense of $78.7 million. And the remainder of the project of the expenses are shown in the smaller pieces of the pie, and that's about $30 million, with the biggest part being $18.8 million for operation maintenance, $1.8 million for taxes. We have about $1.8 million in lease and bond and debt service reserve. We have extensions and replacements of 3.6, and then we're paying back the loan and also building up your working capital at 3.7. So overall, your revenue requirements is $108.4 million. You have some revenue requirements offsets, that's like interest income or other income coming in. So your adjustable operating revenues of $95.7 million makes it that you have a deficit of $12 million. And so overall, we're needing a 12.58% increase in revenue. So again, that's not what everyone's going to see in their rates because there's a cost of service study that was done. I'll stop there and see if there's any questions. Otherwise, I'm going to start pulling up the cost of service study results.
I'm a doctor, and my passion is to alleviate arthritis pain using nothing but natural methods. Can you guess the top 3 foods that I would recommend you to eat? The first one is olive oil. It has a compound called oleocanthal, which has a similar effect to anti-inflammatory meds like ibuprofen, which helps keep your joints healthy, flexible, and pain-free. The second is blueberries. Blueberries are loaded with antioxidants, vitamins, and minerals, which are essential.
Can
Yes.
you explain in layman's terms?
Yes.
Adjusted purchase power, what that means?
And actually, I should probably take it off adjusted. Purchase power, that is, you guys actually don't manufacture your own energy. You purchase it from another entity. So it's like the electric utility receives a invoice from another electric provider, and that's what purchase power is. Unless someone else can. Thank you, Paul.
Other questions from council? All right. Continue.
All right. So as I said, I did the revenue requirements, and there was a cost of service study expert who did the actual rate design. So I'm presenting his presentation here. He took my revenue requirements, as I presented, 12.58%. And, sorry. He then took all those costs and allocated them to different customer classes so that you can see there that the projected revenues under the proposed rate is $107 million, and you currently are bringing in 95.7 million, and you can see the customer class over to the left, so that it shows the projected revenue change and what that percentage change is by class. And so I keep saying that, yeah, the overall increase is 12.58%, and then it's divided by class. Not everyone in every class is going to see the same kind of rate increase, and I'll get to that in a moment. But he did rate design so that different users who use different amounts will see different percentage rate increase. But this shows what the overall residential service class is expected to increase their revenues by 13.5. But not everyone's going to see a 13.5% increase. So let me get to that next. So for residential customers, you can see over to the right, he's switching up that the current monthly facilities charge is $9.86, and that's going to go to $12.50. So everyone's going to, in the residential class, is going to see that increase. Now, currently, you have an energy block where the first block of 0 to 500 kilowatt hours is charged a higher amount, 0.1, versus that anyone that uses over 500 kilowatt hours is charged something less, a declining block. He is projecting to show that it's all going to go to one rate block, so that everyone pays, no matter what usage in the residential class, of 0.13352. So just, and then you can see it over here to the left of the impact on the customers, that as you use higher than 500 kilowatt hours, you see a larger increase because your rate block increased more than the first rate block. So for example, most people would fall into the range of 800 to 1,000 kilowatt hours, and they're going to see between 11.8% and a 13.6% increase. That will result in a bill increase of about $12.64 for our user of 800 kilowatt hours, or $17.53 for a user of 1,000 kilowatt hours. And that's your typical users.
And
So I'm going to
just so
stop
we're
there.
clear,
Yes.
it will be the facilities charge plus, if it's 800, $12.64. So basically, somebody, their monthly impact would be
Well,
$25.
That 12, he included that monthly facilities charge impact within that 1264.
Okay.
Or, yeah, that $12.64 increase for that 800 kilowatt user. So I want to give you an example of your utility bill because I want to make sure it's clear that we're not talking about the entire utility bill. So I got a copy of what your bills look like. And so it has stormwater, that's not changing. Sewer, we're going to talk about that in a moment. Water, we're not talking about today. Electric revenues is the fourth line down. It's highlighted, but you can't see that very well there. And that's the part of the bill that we're talking about changing. Trash collection's not changing. Sales tax is what it is. It's 7% on what you use on electric, and sales tax for water is the same, what you use on water. So just want to make sure everyone knew. We're not talking about the entire bill. We're talking about a certain line item on the bill. As the mayor said, we grabbed the residential bill survey that's put together by the Indiana Utility Regulatory Commission. And you can see there that Anderson, as of July 1st, 2025, and they show the different users of 500, 1,000, 1,500, and 2,000 kilowatt hours. Anderson's ranked third out of the 8 that are under IURC jurisdiction. You can see that the IOUs, the ones that are for profit, are charging more. They're higher rates than you.
If you sleep on a satin pillowcase, you deserve to know about this. I discovered that my satin pillowcase of all things was drying out my skin.
All right, I'll quickly go through these. Your GS1 phase customers will typically see a 12.5% increase. Again, the overall increase is 12.58. The GS3 phase customers see a 6.4 to 7.5% increase. Small power service, their average users, 11.5% increase. Large power service will see a 12.3% increase. And industrial power service will see a 13.4% increase. Outdoor lighting is limited to a 20% increase. And municipal street lighting service also limited to 20% increase. That's the end of,
Can you explain what a GS1 and a GS3 is? Give us some maybe examples in the city of Anderson.
I cannot, and so I'm going to look behind me and hopefully Paul can do that.
Yes, just real quick, the different classes, the main one, most of our customers, over 35,000 are residential customers. The different classes are divided based on basically your voltage, your demand, and your usage. GS just stands for general service. So based on if your voltage is different, it depends on whether you're residential, general service one. And it's just divided by demand, voltage,
Can
and
you give us
usage.
some examples of like a GS1 or a GS?
Off the top of my head, no. I will get you that information, though. Yep, I can get you a list of an example of each of those. Yep.
Okay. Yes, sir.
Mr. President, I think that concludes the presentation on the electric. So ordinance 2-26, let me just talk a little bit more about the procedure. There were some questions at the beginning.
Sure.
So the Board of Works considers it. This is, the statute requires you to introduce it or have a first reading. And then you can have your second and third readings on the 19th. Now, under Indiana law, a public hearing is not required on the electric if you are regulated, because that's going to be at the IURC. But in the spirit of making sure that it's not confusing, and if people want to say something about the sewer or the water, the notices we put out for a public hearing on February 17th will allow comments on both sewer and electric.
Okay.
So tonight's the introduction or the first reading. We'll have a public hearing on the 17th on both the sewer and the water rate ordinances, and then a final vote, or as you call it, the second and third readings on the 19th, assuming it makes it through tonight.
Thank you.
So it's ready for the council's consideration.
Yeah, I also want to see if anybody in the audience wants to speak or ask a question. If you do, please come forward, give your name. There's a sheet, sign-in sheet, isn't there, for name and address?
No, but I can.
Yeah, come right ahead.
Mr. President,
Yes, sir.
I would like to reiterate time limit.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You're absolutely right. We will try to keep this to 3 minutes per person for your question, and then we'll get your
Strictly
answer.
on the electric, right? Right now?
We are on the electric, yes.
Okay, so I'm not going to read through everything I handed you guys, but I did a quick little study myself today just to kind of see what the history was on the electric rate increases. And where some of the public gets confused is what gets put in like the Herald Bulletin. Now, these are all articles that I found pretty much on the Herald Bulletin. And one of the ones that I want to point out is from August 19th, 2025, it says electric rates climb 3.13%. In that particular article, it shows 2025 increases for January, March, 864, April, June, 484. Says October, December of 2025, 3.43%. And what I've heard here tonight and what I heard on Tuesday was that they hadn't had an increase in since 2007. So we're kind of confused as
No,
the
I
public
understand. as
to why that would be.
Yes.
So,
Yes, that is called the tracking factor, and that is actually the cost to produce, the power for the last quarter.
So it's
It
kind of
goes
like
up and
estimated?
it goes down.
It's like estimated costs and stuff?
Well, I don't know that it's estimated. I'm sure it's documented,
Okay.
but that's what that is. Now, that does go up and goes down. Quarter may be up a little bit, one quarter it'll come down a little bit. Is that a fair enough explanation?
Yes.
Okay.
It's that purchase power we were talking about.
Okay.
We buy our power through IMPA.
Right.
Every quarter, there may be a slight fluctuation, and that's what you're seeing in your bill, because we purchase that power through them, say their fuel costs or their trucking costs or anything impacts that cost.
Do you know what eating banana can do to your liver? Bananas are actually edible when they're still green, but what many people don't know is that the resistant starch in green bananas can have a significant effect on liver metabolism. Are they actually healthy? Here's what you need to know. I'm a doctor, and I quit. Years ago, I made a New Year's resolution for myself that I would no longer participate in what our country calls healthcare. It's actually sick care. It doesn't restore health. It just profits off of people staying sick. Like, why don't doctors tell patients that eating something as simple as a grapefruit every day supports blood pressure in a natural way? Why don't doctors tell patients to focus on herbs or certain foods? I believe that real health is possible, and I believe that you are the solution.
Most people think it's impossible to get healthier once things start going downhill, but eating something as simple as cabbage and cucumbers can help with maintaining healthy inflammation levels, and cinnamon and brown rice can help balance blood sugar. What else can foods do for our health?
So that's why I wrote Living Good Daily. So my book just came out, and it is the guide to help you experience real health. Like literally the guide. It has a 21-day challenge, what to eat, what to do, how to fix it. You can get this resource right now. And I committed that I want to change as many lives as possible. So I'm giving away thousands of these books, and you can grab the free resource. All you have to do is claim yours right now. Now, before they're gone, once I run out, that's it. But I've committed to give several thousand away this year, and you can get it right at this moment. But you have to click it. This is going to be gone, and then the books will be out. So somewhere on this page, wherever you're watching this on, I'm not sure, or whatever platform you're watching it on, find the button, click the button, click it. So find the button on here. You have to click it. Click it. The way procrastination is the biggest thief of health. So don't miss out. I'm out of here. Make sure you grab your book. See you real soon. You're still watching, which means you haven't clicked yet. Find the button, click it. Procrastination is the biggest thief of health. If you don't click the button, you don't get the life change, and that's what I want for you. So click the button. Click it.
Click below to claim your free copy of Dr. Livingood's book and discover how to experience naturally good health.
Buying the power, that goes all the way down to the customer, so you see an increase, but also last year we had some quarters where it decreased. It's all due to purchase power. It has nothing to do with the city of Anderson.
Okay.
Okay.
And then my other issue was, what protections exist for fixed income and low income residents with this? Because what we heard from Mike Shively at the Tea Party was the SB1 is getting ready to knock some of the help that the poorer community usually gets. And he said that 2026 we're going to lose 25,000, and 2027 we're going to lose 50,000, and then by 2028 we're going to lose 200,000. So, you know, is there something that's going to be able to help?
That was one of my questions, is how does, the mayor and upper administration see Andersonians being able to afford, on the back of the water rate hike, et cetera? They just have to? What do you say to the residents that you guys and we answer to on that?
Well,
And if you don't have an answer tonight, that's fine.
no, that's okay. And what jumps in my mind with your question is many of those folks would be seniors. Many of them are living in apartments themselves.
Seniors, and I see poor single
So they're
moms.
living in, they have close to
And
the
dads.
base usage of water, and that goes right to what Mrs. Wilson was explaining about the lower increase.
Okay,
Yeah,
all right.
okay. Is there anybody else in the audience that wishes to ask a question?
Question?
Question's been called for. Will the clerk call the roll?
Counselor Turner.
Well, I support reliable utility services and maintaining bond compliance, but I cannot approve a rate increase brought forward under a last-minute bond-related pressure without a documented multi-year financial and capital plan. Approve a rate increase without the level of transparency and due to due diligence would not meet my fiduciary responsibilities. So on that, I'm going to abstain my vote.
I don't think you can do that unless you leave the floor.
Yeah, that's right. You have to walk. You can walk out of here.
As long as you're, I believe now,
You see,
in your seat, you have to vote yes or no, or for or against.
If he wants to do that, he can't walk out right now. He just fell before he came in here today.
True.
So
But why?
I'll help him. I'll do whatever we
Why
gotta
must he
do.
vote?
What's that?
Why must he vote?
I just want,
Because he's in his seat.
I mean, I can get it. I have abstained from voting previously on this council.
Yeah, I don't think that was correct.
Well, someone's gonna have to prove it to me.
Okay, all right. Mr. Lannon, can you speak to that?
I can go get the rules.
just like me being present,
I think if the clerk can get the rules, it should be something perhaps covered by the rules. I can't remember. I know what the rules would be at the Indiana Senate, which is if you're there, you're going to have to vote. But I can't remember. It's been a while since I looked at the rules, and I can't remember.
if, say, at the previous meeting, a person wasn't here and they was asked to approve the minutes from the last meeting, then you could abstain because you were not present. You follow what I'm saying?
I follow what you're saying, but
I know, that's what I'm saying.
You want somebody to help you walk out so that you can hold the, I mean, if that's what they're gonna require.
I can get out.
Okay.
Okay.
It says here, under Robert's Rules of Order, a member cannot be forced to vote and cannot be forced to leave to abstain. So,
Okay.
it's under our,
It may be different than the rules we have in our council.
yeah, obviously, if your rules provide otherwise, that governs. But if it doesn't, then you fall back on
Thank you,
Robert's rules.
Jennifer.
well,
Tim, I want you, on record, I want you to make that decision. You're the attorney. You should
Well, I'm
know.
not your attorney, actually,
It's
but
Rosemary.
your attorney's
Rosemary,
not
do you have
here.
anything to add to
Rosemary
that?
is the council's
Oh,
attorney.
Rosemary's here. Rosemary is.
You have a city attorney, there's a difference.
Well, the clerk's going to get the rules, so let's see if there is something that covers in the rules.
Why don't we just take about a,
And I
5 minutes.
agree
Can we
that
stop?
Rosemary is the council's attorney.
Right.
But things shouldn't be put upon her when we have a city attorney who makes $100,000.
I don't make $100,000.
Well, we got, what do Paul Podesky make?
okay,
I don't
that's,
know.
that's not germane to what we're doing here
Well,
now.
what's Jermaine? You
Germane
can't.
means it's,
I know what you're talking about, but you listen sometimes. You guys are heading down towards a civil rights, just violating the Constitution of the United States, and not.
did you say we're recessing?
we're going to recess for 10 minutes. We'll reassemble at 5 minutes till. That's about 9 minutes.
Don't play with the rules.
Yes votes.
Correct.
5 of the 8 has to pass it for it to
Yeah.
pass.
And then,
It's fine. Council all understands that. Do you wish to repeat your stand, or you've already spoken? Madam Rosemary Curry? Would you come to the microphone, please, and tell us what the result is?
She must be out in the hall.
She was just right there.
You want me to address it?
This gets shot down. This first vote gets done, right?
Yes, go ahead.
Mr. President, you want me to address the matter?
Mr. Lamb.
All right. So your rules do not provide specifically as to whether a member who is present must vote or not vote. So that's not in your rules. It's not covered by your rules. Your rules do say that if an issue involving parliamentary procedure comes up and it's not covered specifically by your rules, you revert to Robert's Rules of Order. Robert's Rules of Order does say that I just Googled this. The question of whether or not a member may abstain, yes, under Robert Rules of Order, a member can abstain from voting. They cannot be compelled to vote, and an abstention is a legitimate choice. It does not count as either a yay or a nay vote.
Correct.
All right, council,
So
understand?
if this were to tie, the yay votes would win, just so,
Well, it takes 5 votes to pass an
I-
ordinance.
I understand, but I'm saying, like, if somebody were to leave or something like that, it would pass if it were 4-4, because we're abstaining. We're not voting yes or we're not voting no. So that's just, I don't know.
I'm not sure.
about that.
Tim,
Mr.
you need to
President,
answer that.
Hold on now,
Since-
Mr. Freeman.
Since we have a new member, I just want to make sure that everybody understands, we're not voting to finalize this today. It's a first vote. And if we vote no and turn this down on the first vote, it's done. It's gone. We don't get another chance. So just make sure we're all clear on that.
Ms. Curry, could you come to the microphone, please? Oh, no, never mind. Tim spoke to that. It's fine. Council all understands that. Do you wish to repeat your stand, or you've already spoken? Madam Clerk, you have that on
So
record.
my vote counts as not a yes or a no, correct?
Right.
Because you're abstaining.
I want to stay with that for right now.
Well-
This vote.
So if it's 4-4,
It fails. No, I think so. It takes 5 to pass.
If
4-4, it didn't pass, and it did not fail. It's a tie.
it depends on what the 4-4 is. If it's 4 yeses, 4 nos, then it is a tie. If it's, no, this is not, because we have all of us here, so there will be 5, whatever, 4, whatever it
He's
is.
abstaining.
I understand that. If it were to be 4-4, 4 abstain, 4 vote for it, then the yeses vote, because we're not, he is not voting yes or no.
It's still 4-4.
Right, so the yeses would win, because,
Still have to have 5.
because there's, he did not vote.
Still
That's according to the Robert's Rules of Order that I looked up.
But
Yeah.
you've got state statute. This is an ordinance.
Right,
State statute says to pass an ordinance, it takes
Right.
a majority of the elected members.
right.
You have 9
But
members.
if 4 people, or are not 5, but if 4 were to abstain, then you don't have a yes or no vote. So you only
If you-
have yes votes. If you have 5 people
But
that are voting.
But the issue is, what does it take to pass the ordinance?
Right,
And
right.
it takes 5 affirmative votes. Takes 5 affirmative votes.
But I'm saying if you have 4 people that do not vote yes or no, they have 0 vote. They're just not voting.
They're not voting, so
Right.
you haven't voted no, but they haven't
Right,
voted
correct,
yes.
correct.
And it does take 5 yes votes.
Correct.
5 of the 8 has to pass it for it to
Yeah.
fail.
And then,
Or
yeah.
5
Yeah.
of
If there's
the
five- if there's
8
5
has to
votes,
vote
it
no
passes.
for it to fail.
Right. 5 votes is
It's
taken
common
to pass it.
arithmetic.
Will the clerk continue the roll, please?
Counselor Harless.
I too would like to piggyback off of Mark's statement. I support infrastructure and reliable utilities, but I will not approve a rate increase rushed forward solely to meet bond criteria without a clear multi-year plan for how the funds will be used. Financial pressure created by delayed planning is not a responsible basis for raising rates, and because of this, I choose to abstain.
Counselor Dixon.
No.
Counselor Freeman.
Yes.
Counselor Culp.
I also support infrastructure reliability utilities, but I will not approve a rate increase rushed forward solely to meet bond criteria without a clear multi-year plan for how the funds will be used. Financial pressure created by delayed planning is not a responsible basis for raising rates. I abstain from this vote.
Watch what bread does to your diet goals.
They're lying to you about whole wheat bread. It's not healthy.
Council Wagner.
I too support
She said
infrastructure. Oh, I'm sorry.
It's kind of out of
Yeah,
order.
you got it out of order.
No, I got it out of order. Sorry, I'll fix it.
I do support infrastructure and bond coverage and complying with our obligations. What a great second meeting for me, but I trust in a few of these people until they prove me wrong. So I'm going to vote for it. Yes.
Councilor Landers.
I too support infrastructure and reliable utilities, but I will not approve a rate increase rushed forward solely to meet bond criteria without a clear multi-year plan for how the funds will be used. Financial pressure created by delayed planning is not a responsible basis for raising rates, therefore I abstain.
Councilor Newman.
I've got a question here. Where do we stand on this right now?
Right now you have 4 abstains. I can't say it. Abstentions?
Abstentions.
Yes, I can't say it. And you have 2 yeses and 1 no.
It doesn't matter.
So what does that mean?
That means that right now you're kind of dead in the water.
You're not gonna get 5, you can't get 5 yeses out of this.
But you could get well.
We have to come back.
Why doesn't it pass?
Because you didn't get 5 votes.
Right.
Because Ollie voted no.
Right.
Girls,
You
is there
voted what?
one of you guys on the fence?
Yeah.
No.
Well, I don't feel guilty of my vote.
No, hold on.
You know, the one thing that scares me, if this does not pass, what's going to happen?
A year
Our
from now.
electric is going to be farmed out, and they can, whatever company it goes to, can jack the price up anytime that they want to, without
I ain't
this
gonna
kind
go-
of meeting.
I wouldn't go for a utility sale.
Well, that's where we're going
Not gonna have a
eventually,
choice.
if we don't pass it.
You guys,
They
y'all,
weren't worried about it before, were they, Mr. Freeman?
Well, let's,
Well,
that
what?
horse is
Last
already out the
minute,
barn.
last
We can
day
go
of
all the
the
way
last
back
hour.
to
Here we are
Republican,
again.
Democrat, everybody in between. If that's what we're gonna do here, if we're gonna go Republican, Democrat, if that's what we're
Are
gonna
you
do.
for the
it can-
people?
I am for the
Okay,
people.
then.
I'm for them not going private.
you guys farmed out the entire black community on that redistricting, a violation of the 1965 Voters' Rights Section 2. So don't tell me about farming out shit.
Yes.
Yes?
Councilman Newman, you have voted?
You voted yes.
Yes, okay.
President Graham.
Yes. The total is what, Madam Clerk?
4 yeses, 1 no, and 4 abstains. Right?
So we have to do it again.
Well, we're gonna have to talk to the attorneys. I don't know the answer to that.
Doesn't fail.
You can do whatever you want.
Okay,
Let me do it.
I don't care.
Change my vote to yes.
There you go.
Madam Clerk, did you register that?
Yes?
Say it
Okay.
again, Mark.
Counselor Turner, yes?
Yes.
Counselor Freeman, yes. Counselor Wagner, yes. Counselor Newman, yes. President Graham, yes. That's 5
That's
yeses.
5. Thank you, Councilman Turner. Thank you.
It's not that, Greg. We'd all love to understand this.
But the buck stops here on these kinds of things.
That sign downstairs bugs the
Well,
crap
I will talk with the mayor about that, and we'll see what we can do about that.
It wasn't just the council. It
Oh,
was
no.
the whole administration that did
Right,
that
I
water
agree with you.
increase.
But I thank you for your change of vote. Now, we have a 5 yes, a 4 abstention, and 1 no.
I'll
We
take that
have
back. You
5.
got You got three.
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 abstentions.
Three abstentions.
3 abstentions, okay. But we have 5 votes in the affirmative.
Yes.
Therefore, it passes first reading.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
Thank you very much. Let's move on now to ordinance 3-26, which is the bond issue. Mr. Janak.
We need to introduce it.
Yeah, oh yeah, we do.
Mr. President, I'd like to introduce ordinance 326, please.
Hi, I'm Dr. Brian Paris. There are 4 foods that I tell my patients to avoid if they suffer from arthritis. Can you guess which one it is?
Second.
Ordinance 3-26, an ordinance concerning the construction of additions and improvements to the electric utility of the city of Anderson, Indiana, the issuance of revenue bonds to provide the cost thereof, the collection, segregation, and the interest of the owners of said revenue bonds, other matters connected therewith, including the issuance of notes in anticipation of bonds and repealing ordinance inconsistent herewith.
Thank you. You've heard the reading of the ordinance. Mr. Janak, are you speaking first here?
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. Chris Janak, again with Bose, McKinney, and Evans. The bond ordinance 3-26
Yes.
authorizes a borrowing of up to $5.3 million. The rates have included an amount for debt service of 4.6. The 5.3, that is what we hope to keep the borrowing at. The 5.3 is a little extra in case the projects that Mr. Syverson outlined cost a bit more. There seems to be some confusion about the capital planning and the capital projects. The capital planning and projects have been prepared by Mr. Syverson. That's what he's talking about. Right. And these will take place over several years, some of which will be paid out of rates as capital improvements that all utilities do to make sure they have reliable service. And I think what's important in this instance to know is that, especially for electricity, this goes to reliability. These are the things that the commission and people and your customers, I think, would want you to do so that the lights stay on and folks get electricity. The IURC will review all of these improvements and make sure they're necessary. So you're going to get experts to review it and make sure that it passes muster. But the way to fund this at this point, especially for longer term improvements, is to, if you bond finance them, rather than putting them all in rates, is you get to spread that out over time. And it avoids rate shock to customers. If we put them all in rates, that means you would be paying for those all in 4 or 5 years. And that means your rates would not be going up 12%, they'd be going up a lot more. So this allows you to do some of the improvements and pay for them over time, especially if they have a longer life. And again, Mr. Syverson can speak to this, but these are reliability issues for you all. So we'd ask that you approve this, or at least approve the initial reading, and set this up for a final vote on the 19th.
Thank you very much. Anybody else speaking on this ordinance? Okay.
Who is Dennis Otten?
This is Dennis Otten.
Oh, no, this is not Dennis.
I'm
No,
Dennis.
This is Christian Otten.
I was like, no, it's-
But Dennis,
He's not here.
Dennis is my partner, Bose
Okay.
McKinney, but he's a bond lawyer.
Okay.
So he's the one who prepared the ordinance. We do these for communities across the state. And Dennis,
His name was just on here.
yeah, Dennis and I work
Okay.
together all the time. Thanks for asking.
Any questions on this ordinance from the council?
I was like, no, that's
Probably
not,
an
this is
upgrade,
Chris.
Any questions from the council on this proposed ordinance 3-26? Are there any questions from the audience? Anybody want to ask a question on 326? Please come forward. State your name and your address, and keep your remarks to 3 minutes, please.
Yeah, my name's Rob Joswak, Uzviak, and 815 Rabel Avenue. How much is this for capital improvement? And how much, because I've read the newspaper, and it said that there was a budget shortfall. There was, so you're issuing bonds for a capital improvement?
That's correct.
What is the improvement?
Well, the improvements are what they would, Mr. Syverson went over.
I wasn't here, I just.
Oh, okay. Can you come up and and give us a recap of that, please?
Yes, just a quick recap. As I explained earlier, we have different departments out at Light and Power, engineering, substation, central services, and many of these projects are directly related to both sustainability and reliability, upgrading circuit breakers and equipment in substations, replacing antiquated end-of-life equipment, purchasing new vehicles for those various departments as needed, continuing lighting projects, upkeep of our central services building, cybersecurity upgrades.
Percentage amount for upgrades.
I'm sorry?
Of the amount being bonded.
Yep.
And requested from the increase, how much is the percentage for capital improvements?
30 years later, how does Marissa Tomei still look this amazing?
This is my mom.
And this is my mom. Pretty much all of our friends think that we're sisters.
That's on that. You got that percentage? Oh, there you go.
Yeah, you got, Rob, Mr. Joswiak, you need to come to the microphone, if you will, so you can get recorded.
I just wonder what the percentage was for capital improvement.
Yeah, that's our technical.
I think
We'll get you an answer.
breakdown of what's capital, what's, yeah.
Yeah, just a percentage.
What this is showing is how much of the
23%.
projects we're bonding and how much, so about a quarter we're bonding, a quarter equipment lease, and then the other half are funding from revenue.
So
revenues on
half
hand.
the money's for revenue.
No, but here's you're probably talking about the total revenue requirements?
No, I'm talking about the amount of money, because you're asking for a rate increase.
Yes.
How much is going to be used to retire capital improvement, and how much is going to be for budget shortfalls, for day-to-day operation expenses?
Yeah, so for bonding, sorry, it's very small.
On the rate increase, the percentage, how much is going to be for capital improvements, how much is going to be for a shortfall for operating expenses?
Sorry, I don't normally look at it that way because you have a full revenue requirement. So it's hard to say.
Well, that's real important.
Can you come to the microphone, please?
It's real important.
Yeah, what I'm trying to say is you have a full, what we've designed is a full revenue requirement. So it's saying right now that your operating fund is deficient and you're not able to make any capital improvements. So the full rate increase gets you up to so that you can pay for your operating and make capital improvements.
Yeah, but to me, you're clouding it. You're muddying the water because you're saying so much is for capital improvement. So it seems like we're going for capital improvement, but we don't know how much is for day-to-day operations because we're supposed to we have enough money for day-to-day operations.
We do not.
Okay, and that's what I want to address.
Yeah.
I think your answer here, I think the lease, bond, and debt service is 2% of the total revenues that we're going to bring in. So I think the number you're looking for is 2%. So it's the smallest piece of
2% is for the capital improvement, or 2% is for operating expenses?
For the capital improvements.
Okay, 2%. So the majority of this is the majority of this increase is for day-to-day operations?
Yes.
Okay, now that's my question. Because every owner wants to be liked by their employees. Every owner does. And we've improved a lot of raises over the last few years. And if most of this is going for a shortfall in budget for raises, we've created this problem by not being really good stewards to the community. Doug Whittam, you always said there was a lot of money available, right, for raises? Well, every time we gave raises, you said there was a lot of money available for them.
No, okay. Well, first of all, Doug Whittam, City Controller. First of all, the one thing you have to understand that obviously you don't is the fact that...
I do understand.
That we're dealing with multiple funds, okay? In this case, we're dealing with the electric utility, which is a fund of its own.
I understand that.
I'm not talking about the general fund. I'm not talking about the water department. I'm not talking about motor vehicle highway. We're just talking about the electric utility. The electric utility, because the rates have not been raised since 2007, okay? Right. Effectively, needs funds for operations and these capital improvements for reliability as has been presented throughout this evening. Okay, so.
But when every time I read the newspaper and we're giving out raises and, and I don't have a problem with raises. I like people to make more money. It's tough for everybody. But every time we come up, it's time for raises. You've said that we have enough money available for the raises.
Okay. Again, I would say you're confusing some of the things that
Point of
that
order,
are being
Mr.
said.
President.
Okay, because
As soon as he finishes.
I'm not saying that we have extra money here with Municipal Light and Power. This is the case they're presenting. We are running deficient on the operating utility. We have been able to fund raises up to this point. We're going to fall behind.
Right.
Okay.
I understand that.
We are. And we try to pay people, again, when we try to pay people and we negotiate union agreements, we try to do so in a way that competes with the marketplace, okay, and what their requirements are. So there's a lot of things here to your question. But I have not said in this instance that we have enough money for raises.
You got to understand, we've lived in this community for 30, 40, 50
You
years.
probably heard me make comments about the. You've probably heard me make comments when we've had hearings on the civil city budgets, which are entirely different from this utility budget, which is funded by rates.
Thank you, Mr. Whitman.
And you're right. Okay. I got another question for Doug.
Switch to TurboTax and file your own taxes free in the app if you didn't file with us last year. Just file with TurboTax Do-It-Yourself by February 28th. Download now.
American dentists are shocked with this new $49 ultrasonic device.
And the problem starts right here, in the bathroom.